Welcome back, familiar, to Northside LDN. And today, listen, Trope Leach, big up. We have got Julian from Aftv. We got the man himself. Julian, how you doing, bro?
For a start, I'm definitely not the man. I still count myself even coming on to 51 as just a boy, aspiring to be a man. But yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited. I remember we met. Was it outside Watford, wasn't it?
Yeah,
After we won 3-2, and everyone was very happy. And then I met you.
Yeah.
And you weren't as happy as the rest of us. Although it's good to see a smile on your face.
Listen, let me tell you, outside of football, my life is going really good. But listen, me and Julian met for the first time. It was the Watford match, and I wasn't impressed. I remember that day, Julian, if you remember, I was criticizing players like Ben White. I think, if I remember correctly, on that day, he was to blame for 3 goals. I think he got skinned by Sissoko, a washed out Sissoko. And because we won the match, everybody was being positive. But you know me, listen, I'm not a fan of Arteta. I don't think he's good enough. I think once we moved away from the legend of Arsene Wenger, we needed to go for an elite manager, a top manager, not somebody learning their trade. And we spoke a little bit away from we spoke away from the cameras, and we had a decent debate. And we may not see eye to eye about the club, and I may not rate this manager, Edu, the Cronkies. Obviously, you have a very different opinion. So let's get straight into your opinion. What do you make of this transfer window? How for you, is it a successful window so far?
Okay, I mean, I'd like to start with saying what I agree with you on. I always think that's a very good place to start. Is what we can agree on. And something you said at the beginning of that speech was very true, and I think 99% of all supporters don't adhere to it. What you said was because we won, everyone was happy, and that's a very, very valid point. Is that I've been to so many matches over the years and listened to so many opinions, and it seems to be purely based on the result. And you're quite right. I think we won that game 3-2, and it was close. So I can't say don't think you can say Ben White was responsible for 3 goals since Watford only scored 2. But I definitely take your point of fans being reactionary. Because we won, we all came out of there happy. And I think that's pretty much sums up the feelings of most fans. When we lose, it doesn't matter what the reasons. We get a lot of negativity. When we win, we just seem to get full positivity. And what made you stand out that game was the fact that you were the only one not positive. But for the reasons you had, I can only compliment you on them because you weren't affected by the result. With me, I tend to be positive whether we win or we lose. So I'm always trying to see the good side of it and keep happy. When we win, people agree with me. My comments seem to go down well, and I'm popular. And when we lose, I'm the devil. There doesn't seem to be anything in between. It's very polarized. Win, happy. Lose, unhappy. So first thing is, well done for not being affected by that. So what do I think of the transfer window so far? I know we discussed off there what we've been doing. I took myself away for about 3 weeks after the end of the season. Yeah. I didn't keep up with what was going on. My view has always been, before I was involved with Aftv, whoever's there at the first game of the season, then I'll start to get interested. There's so much speculation. Most reporters, it's based on speculation. No one really knows that they hear a story, and that story it's almost like Chinese whispers. Reporters in the whole are very lazy. They take one source and they expand it. They need news. If there isn't news, they need to create news because that's their job. And this period in football is boring in one sense because there is no football. So what do? They need to bring up speculation. But the first thing I did when I came back, and the first thing I listened to, I kind of caught up with a show on Aftv, and I was listening to James and Robbie. And James was very methodical, and he's Mr. Logic, and he's always sort of looking at the facts. And Robbie was having a meltdown. which is fine. But he seemed to be getting hysterical because Basuma had signed for Spurs. And that for him was the worst day ever. And he was rallying the troops, and everyone, when I was reading the comments, seemed to be getting hysterical. And I thought, am I living in a parallel universe here? Has the season started? No, it was like the window had been open for like 5 days. So to answer your question, what do I think of the window? How's it going? I think we need to kind of take a step back and think, how long is the window? I think it shuts on, is it September the 1st?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it shuts on September the 1st. Today's the 27th. It started on the 10th. We're only 17 days into a window. So how's it going? It looks promising. It does look promising. Some of the players that they're being linked to look like we need them. But for me, there seems to be obvious deficiencies in this team. And the obvious deficiencies for me are left back. Not because I don't think Kieran Tierney is up to it, because from looking historically since he came here, he came with an injury. And ever since, he's had semi-regular injuries. So we obviously need a backup. Tavares, I was impressed with at the beginning of the season. I was still impressed with him at the end of the season, unless he has to defend. Because when the guy needs to defend, he seems to be incapable of it. And unfortunately for him, being a defender is kind of integral to his job. So it's all very well to be able to bomb up the pitch, and he's obviously got speed, and I think there's a player in there. At the moment, I don't think he's capable of filling in on a regular basis. I don't think he's ready. I think a low move will be good for him. So the first position for me for us to cover, if Kieran Tierney, we can't rely on him playing every game, which we can't, especially with sort of the extra Europa League games, is to get cover at left back. Have we got a player in yet? No. Are we linked to various players? Yes. And some of those players, from what I can see, look up to it. You've got the guy from Ajax, looks capable. He's played most of his football at centre half, but apparently, from what I've read, he's more than capable of playing left back. He's more than capable of playing defensive midfield. How good is he? He seems to be rated highly, but I'm always slightly suspicious of players that I would call utility players. I don't know what your feeling is, but although they're footballers, they should be able to play in every position. If you're always shunted from different positions, I don't think you're going to get the necessary experience and expertise in one position. So you kind of get these reserve type players that can just fill in, which is fine as long as you don't get too much injuries. So he looks like the real deal, but what is his position? I've never seen in all my life a guy that can play various positions as well as his preferred position. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. What's your feelings?
I mean, there's two things. I mean, I'm gonna get into. The first thing, my annoyance that you saw at Watford, and the reason why I want this manager and the ownership gone is because Arsenal have been failing for 19 years. When you're one of the biggest clubs in the country, you can't be going on the way that we have. In the last 6 years, we've lost £336 million on player sales. And that I'm directing to everybody that wants to be an accountant, because all I keep seeing is we're saving money here, we're doing this, we're doing that. Trust the regime, trust the regime. At the end of the day, we've seen Conte go to Spurs and in 6 months achieve the objective Arteta had 3 years ago. And he achieved that in 6 months with only two players at Spurs. And that is the difference with getting a world-class manager and getting a manager that ain't good enough, that should be learning his trade. The same way Patrick Vieira went to learn his trade in the MLS and in France. This manager isn't good enough, and we've seen it. This season that just gone, he had everything in his favour. 1 game a week, because he threw away the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. He had no stress. We had our rivals, Man United, not doing what we expected them to do when they bought Sancho and Ronaldo. We had Tottenham in disarray until Conte for big part. They were in disarray for big parts of the season. Everything was in his favour. So why are we going to go into another season and now he's going to have to balance a European competition, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. I don't see him doing it because he failed his objective this season and he didn't have to juggle all those competitions. We were 10 games away. We were favourites to get top 4, and Tottenham pipped us. A Tottenham that a lot of people told me was irrelevant. A Tottenham that I said I would prefer Conte, and people said, nah, trust Arteta. It's embarrassing. And while we have been complacent for the last 19 years, I've seen Leicester win the league. I've seen Tottenham get to a Champions League final, and we're going further and further behind the chasing pack. We went into January. Before January, Edu come out and said, oh, we need to maximize every window. Well, going into January, how did we maximize that window? Because apparently we're going in for Vlahovic. Then weeks and months after, Vlahovic's agent comes out and said he never got a bid for Arsenal. So why didn't we shut down those rumors? Because the club didn't want to actually do any business. You can't sign nobody in a transfer window and then come out and say we're maximizing every transfer window, which is why now we're going into this window that we need to buy at least 7 players to actually be up there to compete for a league title. For me, it's not good enough. Why did we get rid of Aubameyang? His contract wasn't running down. Out of all the strikers we had, out of him, Lacazette, and Nketiah, he's our most prolific. I remember Aubameyang keeping us afloat when nobody else was scoring goals in this club. And yet we let him go without a replacement. That is not a good plan. The club came out and told us that they've got a clear plan. Now they've got a lot of work to do. Don't you think they could have halved the work they had to do in the summer in January? Because clubs are less reluctant to spend in January because a lot of clubs have this thing that it's harder to do business. If you couldn't find a striker, find a right winger. If you can't find a right winger, find a left winger, find a midfielder. We've got so many positions to fill. I felt like it was ridiculous to wait till the summer when we've got a lot of competition. We've got players like Raphinha that are linked to Barcelona and Chelsea. We've got players like Richarlison that we've targeted that also linked to Chelsea and Tottenham. So there's a lot of competition in the summer. The thing is, I've seen so many windows. I cannot remember a window with Arsenal that we've actually gone out and got every position that we need to strengthen in the squad. We always leave ourselves short. In the Wenger days, I remember when we needed a world-class striker and would buy another midfielder. Then we had a world-class striker and would get another striker. We never really addressed things that needed to be addressed. And also, the reason I'm not completely happy, listen, I'm happy with Gabriel Jesus. I think he's a baller. I'm happy with Raphinha, but I don't really understand where he fits in the team because Saka was our player of the season. Does he move to the left to accommodate Raphinha? I'm not too sure. But nobody can tell me that if we have kept Aubameyang, having Aubameyang, Gabriel Jesus, and Nketiah would be much stronger than going into next season with Gabriel and Nketiah second choice. The fact that the club gave Nketiah 100k a week tells me they're not going to buy another second striker. So if Gabriel gets a suspension or doesn't hit form, you drop so many levels down to bring in Nketiah. And Nketiah that wasn't good enough to actually get us top 4 when he was being underused all season. I don't trust this club. And the last thing I'll say before I let you go, when we spent 150 mil in the last summer, most of those players are not good enough. When you look at Tavares, he can't defend. Ben White, he can't defend. If anything, he got put on the bench. Ben White got put on the bench in favour of Rob Holding. A Rob Holding that has failed under numerous managers. Tavares, I remember Arteta putting Granit Xhaka at left back over Tavares. That Granit Xhaka, probably the biggest liability, played him out of position over Tavares. And Tavares has been pipped to go on loan. Lokonga, people are telling me he's not ready, and we saw that he wasn't ready. He's going out on loan. Is Tavares better than Kolasinac? I don't think so. Is Lokonga better than Guendouzi? I don't think so. Guendouzi's in the French team. Guendouzi's out there ripping it. Young player over there in France. Is Ben White better than Saliba that got into the team young player of the season out there in France? I don't think so. Tomiyasu, looks like we need another right back in the same level as Tini because Tomiyasu's been up and down. When you look at the recruitment, it hasn't been that great. Barring Ramsdale, the money hasn't been spent right. And what I'm seeing is, once again, we're going with Project Youth. Fabio Vieira, this guy, it's another Project Youth player. We should be getting experienced, proven players. And people are telling me rotation. Well, you work on your first getting world-class players before you work on the rotation. Do you know what I mean? For me, I just don't see the planning. We had two injuries last season that ruined our season. Tini and Partey. And both of those positions have still not been strengthened. We've extended El Neni. When El Neni came in at the end of the season, he wasn't good enough. He didn't have a sustained run to get us into the top 4. Then we saw Tavaj wasn't good enough at left back. Are those areas going to be tackled? Do you believe that this club will do what's necessary to strengthen those positions?
Okay, I mean, I have to say that this interview reminds me a little bit when I do a show with Robbie, because he makes so many points. The difficulty I have is remembering them all, and I try to remember from the first thing to the last thing you said. I should have actually taken notes, because you made a lot of really good points, and I'm trying desperately hard to remember them. So, in the order of I remember, and if I forget any, if you can help me out, that would be most appreciated. The first thing you said was we've been in decline for 19 years.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely agree with that, that we have been in decline for 19 years. You also compared us with Tottenham, the fact that Conte came in and in 6 months he achieved what Arteta hadn't achieved in 3 years. Now, for me personally, I'd like to say I'm slightly older than you. Unfortunately, I'm a lot older than you. I'm 25 and you're probably about 21.
No, I'm actually 30 this year.
You've got a good look for it anyway. I'm actually going to be 51 in a few days, and I have to say that I've been very fortunate over the years of when I've been watching Arsenal. I watched my first game in 1976, and when I say fortunate, I'm not just talking about the fact that I've seen Arsenal win a lot of trophies over these years and some fantastic Arsenal teams, but I've also been fortunate enough to see some really poor Tottenham teams, really poor, which I've really enjoyed, because football for me is twofold. It's not just about the enjoyment of watching your team win, but it's also about the enjoyment of watching the opposition teams, your rivals, lose. So I've had a lot of pleasure over the years from Tottenham. They've given me almost as much pleasure as Arsenal had from all their losses and their narrow defeats. The Tottenham team and the Tottenham squad that they've got at the moment is probably the best squad that I've seen. Now, they did have a dip. They also had a really bad time under Nunes, and things kind of went off the rails after they got to that Champions League final. But still, that squad, some of the players that they have in their team are pretty much world class. So what we've got is probably the best Tottenham squad and team that I've seen in my lifetime of watching football. And as you quite rightly pointed out, you've got 19 years of steady decline at Arsenal, and it wasn't dramatic like we were fantastic and then suddenly we just went off the rails. It was a gradual decline. But I think you've got to look at the reasons for that. And quite a lot of people have associated that with, and there is a definite correlation of when the Cronkies took over. Because once the Cronkies took over, I think it was sometime in, was it April? I always struggle with these dates. The Invincibles were 2003, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Cronkies came in around, was it April 2007? If I'm remembering correctly, this is totally off the top of my head. I think it was around April 2007. So what you had was this invincible team, and in our head, it's very easy sometimes to kind of make these associations, is that the Cronkies come in and we had the Invincibles, and then the Cronkies come in and we're crap, and it must be something to do with the Cronkies. Now, I'm not, I know I've been kind of labelled in the past as, you're really supportive of the Cronkies. I'm just not totally anti. I see them for what they are. They're not the Saudis that have come in at Newcastle. They're not the Qataris that have come in at City or Abramovich that's come in at Chelsea. Now, those particular owners are a different breed of owners. Now, we can argue the merits of having owners like that. football. There was a great quote by Shankly many years ago that along the lines of some people say football's as important as life and death. They're wrong. It's more important than that. But for me, the kind of ownerships that those teams have got, they've got billions and they've got almost like a bottomless pit of money. Our ownership doesn't, and they've not. They might. Okay, so I'm going to take it back. They may have funding, but they're looking at Arsenal as a business, and that's for me. That's fair enough. They've got to balance the books. Now, they're not going to just fund Arsenal. I don't think for one moment that the Cronkies grew up supporting Arsenal, and Arsenal's some sort of fancy for them that they wanted to take it on purely because they wanted to win the league with Arsenal. They didn't. They just brought it as a business. And I don't have any issues with them buying it as a business. Unfortunately, when they took it on, Abramovich had just come into play. Man City were just about to be taken over. We were kind of, I wouldn't say fortunate to have the success we had, but ultimately, when I first started seeing Arsenal win things, we had one team that we were competing with, which was Liverpool. Then we had Man United under Wenger, who we were competing with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Premier League is, I look through the Premier League and I wouldn't say that there's many really weak teams in there. It's really high quality. It's not so easy just because we're Arsenal, we're going to win the league. Even when you look at fourth place, so who are we competing with for fourth place? You've got Man City, what I would call sugar daddy club. Chelsea, let's hope their sugar daddy's gone for good and that they'll be run like a business, so they'll fall out. And we'll be able to compete directly with them. But what you've now got is Newcastle taking their place. So we've had two sugar daddy teams in Man City and Chelsea, which we couldn't possibly compete with if we're trying to run a viable business. Now we've got Newcastle that are up and coming. Man United, who have historically been the best support. I begrudgingly say this, and hopefully there's no Man United fans there because I can't stand Man United. But begrudgingly, they are probably the most popular team as regards worldwide support in the league. And because of that, they've had the biggest stadium. They've had some of the biggest revenues. And again, we've had to compete with them. You've now got Tottenham, who I think have been managed well, but they're as good as they've ever been. So we're actually competing, instead of competing with one other team for a major honour, we've now got some really, really strong teams coming in. The way that, when the Cronkies came in, it was probably the worst time. If you're looking at buying a share, it was kind of at its utmost level. Arsenal stock was, I'm not talking about financially, but from a credibility basis and a team basis, probably at its highest. We've just come off the back of the Invincibles. When you get to the stage of perfection, I pretty much think that Invincible season was as close as we're ever going to get to perfection. And people might cite we had a lot of draws that season, but the fact we could go through a whole league season without defeat was phenomenal, and it's never been done since, even by the teams that we're seeing at this level. I just think it's a lot harder to compete now. So I don't
want to put words in your mouth. What is the reason that you think that Arsenal can't? Before because I got something to say about what you said. Are you saying that Arsenal can't compete because of money?
No, I'm not saying they can't compete, because one of the things that pleased me, and again, I've only been involved regularly with Aftv from probably towards the end of the season before last. I was involved kind of in the peripheries. I did the odd interview, but people see me as purely positive. Now, for me, last season, which is when I did I was regularly on it every game. That's when things for me have turned. It has been a lot better than it has been. I was as negative as anyone in those, towards the end of the Wenger years. I applaud Wenger for what he did, but for me, he stayed 5-6 seasons too long. And the issues that we've had have been, and Emery took it on at the worst possible time. I think we've gone into massive stagnation, and Emery kind of bore the brunt of that. If I was going to want to take on Arsenal as a manager, I definitely wouldn't be going in when Emery went in. Arteta, for me, has come in at a very difficult time. I think the fan base, it was a toxic environment at Arsenal. I remember towards the end of Wenger's reign, with Emery, I mean, it was as bad as it had ever been. And I went through some really terrible times watching Arsenal in the 70s and early 80s. They were awful till George Graham came in. But for me, the team was just as awful as the worst Arsenal teams I've seen. So I wouldn't say at the moment Arsenal can't compete. I'm just saying it's difficult. It's difficult because of the quality and the money of the teams around them. But one thing that's really pleased me and has made me far more positive from the last season is the fact, yes, we did miss out, and that was ever so disappointing. Not only disappointed that Arsenal got picked for it, but the fact that Spurs got it. You can't get more of a kick in the teeth than that. But taking a step back from that, at least we were competing. We were close. We did throw it away towards the end. We were favourites, you're quite right. And it was disappointing because of the position we've got ourselves in, and then we messed it up. Maybe you could say we're unlucky, but over a course of a season, I don't believe in luck. I believe it evens itself out. For every game we narrowly suffered defeat, there was a game we can cite where we narrowly got a victory. So I'm not saying we can't compete. I'm just saying it's more difficult time at the moment because of the quality of the opposition and the money that's in our influence.
Do you know what, Julian? This is probably where we see things differently. For me, there's no excuses from this club. When a lot of fans come out and talk about money, well, we've outspent Liverpool in the last 4 seasons, yet they're competing. They got no sugar daddy, they've got no billionaire owner, and they're competing up against the same teams as we are. How are they able to compete for Champions League and Premier League, spending less money than Arsenal? Arsenal have lost £336 million in the last 6 years with player sales by letting go Ozil for free, Lacazette for free, Aubameyang for free, Ramsey for free. All these players that we paid big money for, most of them, we broke 3-4 transfer windows. Looks like Pepe's going to leave for free as well. He's our biggest transfer record. And yet we're still able to outspend Liverpool. Now imagine if this club and this fan base held the Cronkies and Edu and all of these lot accountable. Imagine if we actually recruit the money that we at least break even and recruit the money that we paid for a lot of these players. We would even outspend Liverpool by another £200-300 million. And this is without the Cronkies pumping in their own money. This whole thing about we don't have money is to me a complete nonsense. When you look at the money spent, the only 2 teams that outspent us in the Premier League is the Manchester United clubs. And what's been the biggest issue with Man United and Arsenal? Management and also accountability. At Arsenal, there's no accountability. There's no accountability. We make fans like myself, not saying that you are, but the fan base in general, make people like myself that say it as it is and say, this ownership ain't good enough, this manager ain't good enough, more accountable than the owners that are feeding us this crap. This club has lost its class. Putting up the season ticket by 4% when we haven't even challenged, not even challenged in 19 years, is an absolute disgrace. Putting out all that merchandise when this club has achieved nothing is an absolute disgrace. When we came to the Emirates, we came to be self-sustaining. And they said we came to compete with Bayern Munich. Is competing with Bayern Munich, buying Fabio Vieira for the future, buying Martinelli for the future, buying all these players, Lokonga, Tavares for the future. No, we didn't. Competing with Bayern Munich is buying proper players, because I tell you what, out there in Germany, when they got Dortmund, they buy players for the future. How many leagues have they won? I swear Bayern Munich are onto their 10th league in a row. So competing with Bayern Munich, which is what the direct quotes of this club, you can't compete with them because Dortmund can't, and they actually buy proper ballers, not like us. It's not good enough. We have too many players here that have failed under multiple managers getting extensions. No one can justify to me Xhaka getting an extension. No one can justify Eddie Nketiah getting a new deal, 100k a week, for scoring 10 goals in 5 seasons. That is how many Premier League goals he scored. 10 goals in 5 seasons. I thought we got rid of Lacazette because the guy isn't a consistent scorer. We're now getting Gabriel Jesus. Everyone's getting giddy. Yeah? Gabriel Jesus' stats in the last 4 years, 9 goals, then 14 goals, then 10 goals, then 13 goals? Is this the striker that's going to get us up there, firing up there? Because when you look at Man City, they got multiple people that score. De Bruyne, they've got, they had Jesus, they got Mahrez. When you look at Liverpool, they had Mane, but they got Diaz, they've got Jota, they got Salah, they got multiple guys. We don't have that. And we're going with the youth project. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Only the class of 92 has won a Premier League. That would tell me that this is an anomaly. We've gone through so many youth projects. We had the youth project with Fabregas. We had the youth project with Wilshere, Gibbs, and Jenkinson. This is the third youth project. I'm sick of it. When is it time to actually deliver? And this is the problem. When is it time to tell this club, no, you've made a bunch of promises. It's now time to deliver. And for me, I look at the club like a child. When you have a child, let's say your child wants to rob a bank. Sometimes you have to have tough love and discipline that child. Doesn't mean you don't love them, but you have to call it as it is. Why is it that Arsenal fans can't do that about their club? Because I tell you what, if we raise our standards, maybe we can win the league. I remember out there in Portugal, Sporting Lisbon didn't win the league for 20 seasons. Yeah. Then the fans, I don't promote this, but they raided the training ground, and they raided the stadium. They showed the club we're not having it anymore. Next season, they went on to win it. Why? Because the owner saw we can't raise ticket prices. We can't start finessing you and giving you players that ain't actually good enough or not actually trying to compete. They actually got Ruben Amorim, that was an ex-player from my club, Benfica, and they won the league the next season. How is that possible? Every club that wins, their fans hold them accountable. Barcelona, £1 billion in debt, their fans didn't care. Go out there and do what's possible. Get Aubameyang, get Traore, get those. We don't care. The standards is up here. If you guys have run this club into the ground, that's your own fault. Our standards is to win. And if you don't, we'll hold you accountable. Xavi ain't going to get the time Arteta's had because Barcelona have more standards. Their fans have more standards. When does it become cool? Because I was born in 92. When does it become cool to allow us to just be inconsistent, not even challenging? If my club was at least challenging, I could be happy. My club is not challenging. They're not even challenging for the league title. Yet people are celebrating 4th, 5th. We get to 8th place. People are celebrating. You said something that I really agree with. You said Wenger stayed here 5-6 years too long. Well, I'll tell you what, Julian. A washed up Wenger that did need to go is better than Mikel Arteta. This guy has had £250 million spent and all the protection in the world for what? He's not a club legend. What has he actually done? Isn't it embarrassing that Conte goes in there, spends what, 50 odd million or whatever it is, and outperforms you when you have all the players that you need? It's not good enough, bro. And we're just wasting time. And for me, that has been the demise of Arsenal. That when you say it as it is, you're deemed negative, you're deemed not getting behind the team. I've been patient enough. I think we're the most patient fans. Newcastle, they were the most patient. They got new owners now with ambition. People told me we couldn't buy in January. They bought in January and it got them out of a relegation position. Why can't we sign players in January? We've had Buendia want to go to Aston Villa over Arsenal. They got Guimarães preferring to go to almost a relegated Newcastle in January than come in here. That's how bad we've fallen. I don't understand why it is deemed the fan base. From my perspective, is negative. I want Arsenal to win. What do you make? What do you make of what I said?
Okay, again, you've made a lot of points. I'm struggling to remember all of them, but the good thing is you make so many points. Even if I don't remember all of them, we've got plenty to discuss. First thing that I agree with on the Cronkies is they wasted a lot of money. A lot of money had been wasted. I was pretty outraged. I think the worst thing Wenger ever did for us was at the end. The most selfish act he made was in the January transfer window before he left. He was faced with two of what he perceived to be his best players, Alexis Sanchez and Ozil, both leaving for nothing. He let Sanchez go, which I think in hindsight, seeing what he achieved at Man United and what he's achieved in his career since then, was probably the best move. He was fantastic for us, but the last kind of season he was a little bit off the ball and his career went downhill. But he was dead set on keeping Ozil, because I think Wenger did that for a selfish perspective. He didn't want to lose his job at that point. He didn't want to lose his job at all. He hung on for dear life, and I think he should have gone. There was no one above him. I think the Kroenkes issue, and one of the things I'll criticise the Kroenkes for, is that they didn't know enough about football, which they still don't. I don't expect them to, but they put their faith in the wrong people, which I can understand why. If you've taken on a club with Arsene Wenger, who's done so well for you over so many years, you put your faith in him. But he was given far too much power. And what he did, he left us with, all right, Sanchez went, which was, in hindsight, a good decision at the time. I didn't agree with it, but now I look back and think I was wrong. But what he did, he put Ozil on 350 grand a week. And Ozil, for me, I was never a fan of Ozil. I think he had great skill, but success in life is governed by three factors for me. Natural ability, which I think Ozil had plenty of natural ability. He's one of the most naturally gifted players I've ever seen in my lifetime. But the other two aspects of success in life are governed by attitude, which I think he had a very poor attitude, which was infectious. And the third element of success is work rate, which again, I just was never impressed by his work rate. So to give him that kind of money, I thought was wrong. It was totally out of kilter with the rest of the team. And we were lumbered with him. We saw what happened. We basically had to pay for someone else to take him on. And it was poisonous. It was toxic running through the team. So we kind of got left with some real issues, massive issues. So when Arteta took it on, this is why I don't necessarily blame Arteta. And I made that comment that Arteta could be the next Ferguson. And it wasn't the fact that I was bigging up Arteta and saying that Arteta is so wonderful. It was just the fact that he's just come in. He basically inherited a very bad situation. That the club, for me, was as chaotic as it's ever been. It was really in the doldrums. So he needed time to turn that around. And what I've seen over the last few years under Arteta is positive moves. It's better now than it has been, and it's on an upward trajectory. So all I'll say about it is the jury should be still out. I don't see him as that bad. You mentioned that the players that he brought in last season for 150 million were all useless. I actually think that they're pretty good. I mean, Tavares, he cost 7 million. I still think if we sold him today, would he hold his value? Would we get more than 7 million? Yeah, I do actually think with all his defensive deficiencies, we'd still get more than 7 million for him. Lukonga, again, he looks. Is he ready now? No, but he's not that far away. I've seen some really encouraging performances from him. We were all going mad about the fact we missed out on Buendia to Villa. We're being outbid by Villa. But I would judge Arsenal at the end of the transfer window. And for me personally, and this is a matter of opinion, my opinion is Odegaard is a better player than Buendia. So yes, we didn't get him in right at the beginning of the transfer window, but he's an Arsenal player, and I really rate Odegaard. I'm not sure what your feelings on him are.
Julian,
I prefer him to Buendia.
I have to say something on what you said.
Go on.
I can't believe you just told me that Arteta inherited a mess and he's been doing a good job. The mess that he inherited, Emery got to 5th place. I think it was 1 point off of top 4. That team consisted of Deadwood, yeah? People told me that was Deadwood. With Deadwood, Unai Emery, yeah, managed to get a tune out of Mustafi, Monreal, and dead players like that to get 5th. This guy spent all the money in the world and still ended up getting 8th, and now got out of the top 4. That's not good enough. That ain't good enough. The Deadwood he inherited, the previous manager got more out of. And you remember, Emery wasn't even backed. What I don't understand is this manager's been backed on all these decisions. He's getting all his players in. Unai Emery didn't have that. Now, I'm not saying that Unai Emery was the guy, but how can Unai Emery get more of a tune out of these so-called Deadwood players than this manager? And yet we're still persistent. You even told me Wenger stayed there too long. Wenger never finished 8th. And yet we wanted to move on because just qualifying for Champions League wasn't good enough. This manager is yet to get us back into the Champions League. He should have been fired a long time ago, Julian, Because people can't judge Wenger and say, oh, we got rid of you because we're tired of just qualifying for Champions League and not actually competing and not winning the league. Yet move the goalposts when it's Arteta. It makes no sense. My criticisms of every player and manager is the same. If you don't win me the league or get me up there competing and winning a Champions League, you're not good enough and you're going to need to leave. I don't understand how finishing eighth, and now dropping out of 4th when we had it all in our hands warrants him another year. Based off of what? Because he won an FA Cup. A washed up Arsene Wenger in his last 5-6 years won FA Cups. That wasn't enough to save his job. And he had more credentials in the bank than this guy. It doesn't make any sense. We could have got Klopp once upon a time. We held on to Wenger too long. We could have at least tried to go in for Pep. We held on too long. Now, we may have got them, we may have not. I remember when Everton got Ancelotti, yeah? Everyone, oh, Ancelotti's washed, he's washed. He just won the Champions League. Then Conte was there. He rejected Tottenham at first. Why didn't we go out and get him? I'll tell you why. Because this club knows that the fans here, I'm sorry, they're easily pleased. We got Fabio Vieira, and most of these fans are making it out like they watch the Liga Portuguesa. I'm Portuguese. I've done this channel. I don't hear anybody talking about that league. If you ain't Portuguese, most people don't watch it. So majority,
I've never heard of it.
People don't watch that league because people call the French league a farmers league. The Portuguese league is like the 6th strongest league in the world. It's even weaker than the French league. So people are definitely not watching that. Unless you support Benfica, Porto, or Sporting, you ain't watching that. But this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm sick and tired of them giving us crumbs and we're making it like it's a big thing. Am I happy with Raphinha? Yes, I will be. Am I happy with Jesus? Yes. But we have to do a lot more business. We need a proper striker like an Ivan Toney or an Nkunku or a player like that. I wanted to go for Darwin Núñez, but we didn't go in for him. We went for Liverpool. It is what it is. But how come? Why didn't we get a world-class number 10? We already have Project Youth Odegaard there. Why did we get another Project Youth player? It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why do we need to? Edu came out. This is the last thing I'm going to say because I know we're on limited time. Edu came out after we signed Fabio Vieira. All he kept saying is a long-term project. It's going to take 4, 5, 6 years. You don't have that, mate. You guys have made so many promises. When are you going to deliver? Oh, we want to see all the youngsters play together. Well, when Fabregas got good enough, saw this club didn't match his ambitions, he left. Adebayor, the same. Van Persie, the same. Nasri, the same. Haleb, the same. So what? Is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? Because everyone's buying players for now, and we're buying players for the future. Once these players become world-class, they'll see that Arsenal don't move like a world-class club. So they will want to go to a club that matches that ambition. We already have the big clubs sniffing around Martinelli and Saka. Once these guys become world-class, if they do achieve that level, why would they stay at Arsenal? History shows us they won't going to stay. Because if you're not putting world-class players against world-class players, they will leave. Do you believe we're going to do all the business that's needed before the window's closed?
I don't know. I hope so. But, you know, the last point I'll make, and the reason why I'm not sort of shouting and screaming as far as Edu and Arteta's concerned, the big mistakes that I've seen over the 19 years that you quite rightly pointed out of our decline have been made before those two turned up. I mean, the most recent one being the Pepe deal. For me, you know, they say he cost £72 million player. I don't think he's a terrible player. I look at him play, I think he's about a £10 million player with a £62 million in someone's back pocket. But that was done before Arteta and before Edu turned up. So I don't blame them. All I see is a progress since they've turned up. I'm not talking about the FA Cup. During COVID times, it was difficult. I'll judge them on the last season. All I'll say, and hopefully we'll end this on a positive note for me anyway. It was progress, and I felt that I've actually, for the first time in a long, long time, connected with that team. I feel that they may have deficiencies. The atmosphere was great at Arsenal this season, home and away, and I saw players that cared, and I didn't see that from players like Ozil. I saw players that really tried. They might not have the ability of an Ozil at the moment, but they have the potential and they give it a go. And as a fan, I just want to see, it doesn't matter what vocation someone is in life, whether they are a prime minister, whether they empty dustbins for a living, whether they're a professional footballer, as long as someone gives 100% effort, that's all I can ask. And what I saw from the playing staff last season was 100% effort in most games. So that would be my last point. Although I have to say, you've made so many points, I could literally be here all night. And I'm sure over the course of the season, when I see you, we can continue this.
Do you know what, Julian? Thanks for coming on. I think, when you have a fan base and you have a divided opinions on certain things, I think it's good to have a conversation. A lot of people say, oh, why don't I put like-minded people on my channel? And I think the debate is more interesting because the fan base, not all the fan base think like me. Not all the fan base think like yourself. And it's good to have a conversation like we've had now to actually flush out how each other feels about the club. We're all fans. Whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out, I don't think anyone's less of a fan. Obviously, everyone's going to feel like their point is valid, and we will see. Time will tell. Last quick question, because I know you have to go. How long would you give this manager? Because I want him fired right now. I want Edu fired now, and I want Kroenke's fired out. How long would you give him?
For me, it's not time as such. It depends what he's doing. I was asked this question at the beginning of last season. He doesn't get fourth. Would you sack him? And the answer was, it depends. If we get 8th and we're 10 points off it, yes. If I carry on seeing progress, if he gets 5th again, but it depends what's above us and what we're competing with. I saw progress before. I want to see continued progress. If I don't see continued progress, I don't want him sacked. I remember the first game of last season after Brentford, and I was kind of shocked by so many guys were coming on Aftv and screaming, "Sack him!" He's had one game. It's the first game of the season. I wouldn't sack him. I believe everyone should have a chance. He was given a chance. I believe he did enough last season to warrant this season. But if we're 10 games down the line and we've lost 9 and drawn 1, sack him. I'll be holding the placards behind you in Turkish.
Listen, it's been a pleasure, Julian. I know you got a shoot on. Thanks for coming on, bro. And listen, we will see. We will see. Time will tell. And you already know how I feel. Listen, thanks a lot for coming on, people. You already know where to find him on Aftv. Julian's always there, match going fan. And love Julian. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, thank you very much for having me. Bye.
See ya. Bye. Right, people, let's get into your thing. Listen, the conversation was going. Obviously, Julian only had 45 minutes, so I couldn't really post your questions to him because, I wouldn't have been able to say what I had to say because, he only had 45 minutes. But listen, big up Northside, big up to you, bro. I hope Julian bought his own personal security. Things are going to get crazy. Listen, I keep it respectful because I feel like things always need to be kept respectful, but I'm always going to say how I feel, and I'm not going to bend or fold that for anyone. At the end of the day, I've got high standards for my club, and I want to see my club win. You guys know that. Anyone that's tuned in right now, 145 of you tuned in right now, make sure you like and subscribe. Smash the like button. Help me out, caramba. Boom, help your brother out. Do you know what I'm saying? If you enjoyed the content, make sure you like and subscribe. Do you know what I mean? At least like the video. Don't cost you nothing. Yeah? No seja agarrado, yeah? No seja tacaño, yeah? Don't be greedy, don't be stingy. Hit the like button, caramba. Like, share, and subscribe to the Legend Northside. You already know, caramba. Do you know what I mean? Man's out here. Listen, I'm going to be doing a lot more collabs. And listen, a lot of these guys that I don't see eye to eye with their opinion, just like Julian, and I've made it very apparent, obviously it's very clear, I don't see eye to eye with him. I'm always going to keep it respectful. It's nothing personal. I don't agree, but it's nothing personal. It is what it is. And having these debates is good because, like I said, the fan base is divided. And I think if people can have a conversation, a lot of times we can, understand one another. Obviously, for me, I'm trying to raise the standards. So it's get Arteta out, get Edu out, you know what I mean? Raise the standards. You already know what it is. I ain't bending, I ain't folding. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Big up Northside in the chat. Hope you're all good. Julian is the worst in Fuad. He love Arteta. Big up the Legend Northside and Julian. Big up from NS Sports. Big up Northside in the chat. I want Richarlison. People, I will be getting into players we're linked to. I just want to get through some of your comments so you guys don't think I'm ignoring you. But you already know I ain't ignoring you lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get straight into the players that we're linked. Let me just get into a lot of you lot's comments. I want Richarlison and would hate him to go to Tottenham. He's a straight hustler. Listen, at Richarlison and Raphinha, I'd rather Raphinha. I can't lie to you. Maybe he will talk some sense today, and not as a paid actor. Flipping hell, Jens is coming out with the guns. Here we effing go. Tottenham have the greatest attacking duo in Prem history, unfortunately. Smash the likes up. Big up Northside and the legend Jez in the chat. Big up Jez, man. You know what I mean? That's my guy, man. Big up Jez, man. Hopefully you're having a nice glass of wine, Jez. Big up to you, man. I like Raphinha. Big up Jez. Northside talking facts. You already know, man. I'm not in with the pucaria. Do you know what I'm saying? When I'm talking straight gunshot. I'm not messing around. Do you know what I'm saying? This is why I come out with too many points, because man knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? My guy Northside, big up, bro. Big up, bro. Make sure you go subscribe to One Touch TV. Deji's channel. Make sure you go and subscribe to that. Evening, Jess. Hope you're all good. Big up Northside. Julian, wake up and use your brain. You lot are going in. Julian, if Arsenal don't finish top 4, does Arteta deserve the sack? Well, I tried to put it to him, and to be fair, Julian didn't really come up with a straight answer, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Jez is much older than you, Julian, and much wiser. You, man, are mad. Northside, we are linked with replacements for Tini in Hickey and Martinez. I can't lie, the lack of cover for Partey is a worry. Would you keep Torreira if we can't get money for him as cover? We should be able to get rid of him, because I've seen Solanke from flipping Liverpool. You know what I'm saying? Go for free. Do you know? Not go for free, sorry. Go for 20 odd mil and never kick a ball for Liverpool. How can they get money for Solanke or whatever his name is and sell him to Bournemouth, and yet we can't get rid of Torreira that was actually having a decent campaign out there in Serie A? Make it make sense. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of him. He ain't good enough. I'm not on holding to these players that ain't good enough. Like, what are they going to achieve? The same thing they achieved the last couple of years. No Champions League football, no major trophies. Now I'm done with that. When's your birthday, Northside? My birthday is 31st of August, 1992. Caramba. Big up, 1992. Daya, brinca conmigo. Do you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people think I'm younger. I know a lot of people think I'm young Dirk, but I ain't young Dirk. 30, damn, you look good for 30. Thank you, my guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Puta que pariu. You already know, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Of course. Black don't crack. I said it. You know what I mean? Even in all of you in the chat, trust me, black don't crack, man. I can't say that for everyone I know, but black don't crack. Tommy, big up Northside Julian. Smash the likes, people. Big up, Tommy, man. Big up. Listen, I would have gotten you on, Tommy, but obviously Julian was on limited time, so sorry, bro. Too bad Julian is so anti Arteta. Come on, man. Be more positive. Give him a chance, Julian. What's this here? This squad isn't better than their Champions League final squad, if I'm honest. Well, then why can't we get to the Champions League final then? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know. Julian, tell us how you got a ticket for Anfield in '89 when they're only available to season ticket holders. Listen, sorry I couldn't put that to him. Do you know what I'm saying? He had to go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Jez. But yeah, hopefully next time I can get him on for a lot longer. Cheers, mate. Big show tomorrow, 7:30 with Northside, Lee, Kenny, and Gracie May. Yo, that's going to be flames. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you go like and subscribe also to the Arsenal history and more, Jez's channel. Big up to Jez. Thank you guys for tuning in. What's here now? Nice to hear an Arsenal fan talking sense, Julian. Doing good, man. I'm a Man United fan and I love your channel, learning about history of football. Good to learn. Big up to you. What's this? Watching United and then Chelsea crumble would be delightful. Well, is that what Julian says? Because you got the sound thing. I don't even know. What's this here? Let's see here. Arsenal became the laughingstock of the league, which has made many bitter, but times look like they're actually changing. We're going to fight and have an identity again. I don't know about that. I can't co-sign that, but yeah, it is what it is. Didn't the Cronkies win another trophy last night? Yeah, they did, but I'm not interested, so I ain't even touching on it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck their teams, man. I care about Arsenal. Fuck their teams. You know what I mean? Fuck the Cronkies, bro. Facts, Northside. Big up Northside. Super fans are expecting Eddie to score a bag of goals, bro. Ain't happening. Big up Northside. George, comentawi. C'est ta fiche. You know what I'm saying? Commenta. Big up to George, man. Big up to George. I'm gonna get into some of the stories, some of the headlines. There's a lot of comments come through, man. Big up you lot, man. Your interaction is second to none. Julian, please open your heart and support Arteta and Edu. They're doing a wonderful job. Oh my days. He's passionate. You can't argue against that. Not sure who you're talking about. But yeah, if it's me, big up. Arsenal Mazit, please, you are joking. Of course he's joking, man. Of course he's joking. Let's all start asking Julian to start trusting the process. Let's hope all these Arsenal fans have the same energy at the end of the season when we inevitably fail under this clown of a manager. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said to him. We will see. We will see who's right and who's wrong, because I'm already telling you. I'm already telling you. How about Madison versus Odegaard, Julian, since you're bringing up Buendia? Bruv, it's mad. Odegaard ain't good enough. If Arsenal situation after Wenger and Emery was very problematic, an experienced and proven manager would be better choice than picking a novice. Exactly. Absolute facts, Francisco. Absolute facts. Emery is an experienced manager. Arteta is a novice. Unai Emery wanted Fabinho, Partey as an alternative, and Kunku, etc. George is laughing. When you're the Arsenal manager, you should either compete for titles or F off. Exactly. I don't understand why the standard always has to be lowered, but listen, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, I can't scare man off the platform. I have to tackle it in a bit more of a tactful way, but I'm always gonna say what I gotta say. Like I'm never gonna bend, fold, wait. You know what I mean? You already know. I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube, but yeah. We need to win the league now, or off you go. Exactly. God Northside put some sense into him. Listen, it is what it is. Big up for him for even coming, because he already knows my opinion on this club. You know what I mean? Trust the process, bloody joker. Listen, do you know what? At least he came on. Do you know what I'm saying? He could have ran. Julian, I've already met him twice. He knows my opinion on the club, and he knew exactly my stance on the club. And he could have said, you know what? This guy doesn't have the same opinion as me. I'm not going to go on the channel and and face that. I'd rather go on channels that agree with my opinion, because believe it or not, a lot of people are like that. A lot of channels are like that. They only want opinions that that are the same as their own. And whenever anyone, wouldn't say stick it on them, but has a debate with them, you know what I'm saying? They don't really want that, because they can't really argue their point or really put across a valid response to any questions put forth that is not sucking off this manager and sucking off this process. So big up to Julian for coming on. He already knows I don't agree with his opinion, but I respect for him to come on and have a conversation with me, even though it was limited. Would have been much better if we had like an hour, 20 minutes, or at least an hour, but it is what it is. I'll take what I can take and we can have that conversation. Listen, let's get into some transfers now. Let's get into some of the transfers. And yeah, a lot of the same players. We got this story here. Arsenal make improved 40 million euros offer for Man United linked defender. Club want to keep player. So we got over here, obviously, Martinez. It says here, it's reported that the Gunners have upped their offer for Martinez to 40 million euros, which is 34 million pounds, including add-ons. It is claimed that Arsenal initially bid for the defender from a couple of weeks ago was 25 million euros, which is 21 million pounds. Ajax would rather not lose the player, their player of the summer, but it is noted that the transfer poker game around Martinez is continuing. So yeah, listen, will we get him? Will Man United get him? Maybe we're up in the bid straight away, because we're seeing that Man United are very interested in the player. And yeah, we don't want him to go to the rivals. Listen, if Arsenal really want the player, go out and get him, because you guys have identified him. And the longer that you differ, the quicker our rivals come in for a lot of these targets. We've already got rivals coming in for Richarlison, coming in for Raphinha, now coming in for this Lisandro Martinez, sorry, you know, and others. So at the end of the day, if you want it, go, you know, sometimes you got to bite the bullet, pay the asking price just to get the player over the line. Do you know what I mean? Because we're not really a club that likes to go in a bidding war. And if this player is that great, then go for him. Listen, I don't know much about him, but if the club want him, then get him, because I don't want any excuses. We've got many signings to do this season if we're going to be serious about competing. Overall, even if we get all the players, I don't believe that we will actually win the league, because this manager's not good enough. Even if we get all the players that are good enough to compete, I don't believe in Arteta. And it's because I've heard things like, not only my own opinion, I've even heard a Crystal Palace fan earlier on in the season say he'd rather Patrick Vieira than Arteta because Patrick Vieira is more versatile. Some people may laugh at that, but I think that's absolute facts. He's always doing the business over us every time we come up against Crystal Palace. So listen, it is what it is. But yeah, Lisandro Martinez, do you rate him? Do you want to see him at Arsenal? What else do you lot think? Obviously, Raphinha as well. Looks like, we've gone in with another bid. We're going in with another bid for Raphinha. Obviously, if we don't hurry up, then other teams are going to come in for him. We already know about the interest from Barcelona. Barcelona are interested in Raphinha. And the player is said to prefer Barcelona. Also, Chelsea are looking at him. If other targets fall through, he is on their list of wingers that they want to get through the door. And in my opinion, we cannot compete with Chelsea and Barcelona at this moment for his signature. The fact that they can offer him Champions League football, the fact that they got teams that are more ready to win trophies now, and with managers that have the know-how and the knowledge to win now, I don't see Arsenal getting Raphinha if he has the option. I mean, Barcelona, I think they're trying to get their money together. They can't afford him at the moment. But if we differ and down, if we take too long in this transfer target and give him the option between Arsenal and Barcelona, you already know where he's going to go. And that's my opinion, and it's not going to shift on that. So if we're going to go get him, we might as well go out and just go for the player. Don't let the player have a moment to think of where he's going to go. Show the flipping ambition that you want to get the player. Go get the job done. Arsenal keeping tabs on £34 million rated Lens midfielder Seko Fofana. I've never, ever heard of this player. I'm not even going to lie. Seko Fofana, I don't think I've heard of this player. But anyway, Arsenal keeping tabs on Lens midfielder Seko Fofana as Mikel Arteta looks to further bolster his squad amid a busy period of summer activity for the club. The North London club have moved early this window to secure a number of targets in the signing of Fabio Vieira from Porto, Gabriel Jesus. So it says here, Sportsmail now understands that the club have identified Fofana as a potential addition to their midfield, with Yuri Tielemans and Crystal Palace target Czech Decore also being considered. Fofana arrived at Lens from Udinese in 2020 for around £8.5 million. But he's saying that he's rated now at £34 million. Would you take him? Would you not? He was in a Lens team that finished 7th last season. Let me see in the transfer mark. Let me see what they're saying about him there. Let me see this guy. Let me see his stats, because I don't know nothing about this guy. 27 years old, central midfielder. We do need a central midfielder. 27 years old, primarily plays central midfield. He can also play defensive midfield and attacking midfield. In 38 appearances, 8 goals, 1 assist. I'm not really that impressed. In Coupe de France, 3 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. Yeah, not really ripping up trees over there in Ligue 1. I mean, what's he going to do when he comes over here to the Premier League? I don't know. I'm not too convinced. For me, I'd rather go to Portugal, and there's players there like Paulinho, etc., that we can go get over there. I'd rather us go for targets like that than go for this guy. Targets that I actually know and are actually ready for the next step. But that's just me. I mean, does anyone know about this Seko Fofana that plays for Lens? Are any of you even watch flipping French football? Because I can't even lie, I don't watch French football like that, so I don't really know. For me, I think we could do a lot better. The fact that Paulinho is over there at Portugal, I mean, when you look at this guy and you look at his stats, I'd rather him. I'd rather João Paulinho, 26 years old, plays in the Portuguese league. This guy, they're raving about him heavy. I'd rather go for him than go for this Fofana guy. But I'd like to know you guys' opinion. Do you watch this guy? Do you know about this guy? Let me know, because I don't know much about this guy. But nah, I'm not convinced, and I don't think he should be a target of ours. But anyway, next headline. Romano says Arsenal man is definitely staying at the club. This is about Saliba. Fabrizio Romano has dispelled rumours linking William Saliba with a summer exit from Arsenal, and insists the defender is likely to stay. However, Romano insists he is staying unless a suitor makes a huge offer for his signature. On transfer Twitter, the transfer Insider tweeted, William Saliba situation, rumours on loan move are wide off the mark. Arsenal board and Mikel Arteta both count on Saliba as part of the team next season. Been told situation could change in case a crazy bid. Arsenal trust him, keen on discussing a new contract. So yeah, listen, I don't want him to be sold. I want him to stay. This is good news. I don't want to get rid of Saliba. I think he's a very good player. And yeah, I'm glad to hear that, you know, he's part of the players that we want to keep at the club. There's also another rumor now. Let me get into this. Let me get into this rumor. Here we go. Right. West Ham could beat Arsenal to signing of La Liga star. West Ham could beat Arsenal to the signature of Danjuma after his stunning season with Villarreal. After scoring 17 goals, clubs around the continent have become interested in the move for him. Arsenal keeps an interest, but West Ham have gotten serious about their bid to win the race for his signature, apparently. Villarreal knows about the interest in his signature, and they are set a asking price of around £37.5 million. Is he really worth that? I'm not too sure. Do any of you lot want this guy, Danjuma from Villarreal, over there from Unai Emery? It's mad, isn't it? Looks like Unai Emery is scouting is a lot better than ours, but let's look at his stats. Let me put it up here in transfer mark. Let's have a look at him. Centre forward. And let's have a look. Hold on a sec. Let me get this up now. Danjuma. Let me get him up. Hold on a second. Right. Danjuma, 25 years old. He's an international for Netherlands, rated at £45 million. In 23 appearances in La Liga, he scored 10 goals and 3 assists. Champions League, 11 assists, 6 goals and 1 assist. Not good enough. Not for me. Not the level that I want. You can go to West Ham. Maybe he'll do good at West Ham. Not good enough. Scored 10 goals in La Liga. The Premier League's a step up. We just got rid of Lacazette, and his best tally was 14 goals. Only 4 goals off of that. Not good enough. Honestly, I don't think this guy is the answer that we need. And yeah, I know stats don't tell everything, but at the end of the day, nah, I don't want to take a punt. I mean, being valued at £45 million for a striker that can only score 10 goals, it's not good enough in La Liga. I mean, La Liga isn't a bum league, you know what I mean? I know it's not an easy league, but no. We need higher levels than that. And if we're getting rid of certain strikers that are not good enough to cut it, I don't see why Danjuma is the one to cut it over here at Arsenal. Let me get into some of you guys' comments. What's this? Maybe I should get Julian on my channel with Lee and Kenny. That would be fireworks. Listen, it would be mad. It would be mad. Why not? Hit him up on IG, Jez. Hit him up. Continued progress. We've not heard of that one before. That's what I'm saying. It's mad. I don't know what continued progress we had from finishing 5th with Unai Emery and then finishing 8th with Arteta. But listen, there's a lot I wanted to say, but I was on limited time. So I tried to cram as much as I could, but it is what it is. When you're on limited time, thankfully, I'm listening on my phone in busy streets, so I can't really hear the convo. More of these chats are needed. If you can get tied, that would be very interesting. Yeah, that would. Jez wants a 4-versus-1 battle with Julian. Might as well get Fuad to team up with Julian. Listen, I was trying to see if Fuad was available today, but he's going through some personal stuff, so Fuad was not available because people sometimes say, "Oh, you lot gang up on Fuad." Listen, I have no issues with getting people on that have the thought process or agree with a lot of opinions as Fuad. Just the majority of them are not like Julian and Fuad that have the confidence to come on camera and have a debate with me. So it is what it is. Top gooners swallow propaganda like paracetamol. It's mad. Wages. Young players who haven't played are cheap on wages, so teams are happy to pay a fee. Exactly. What's this here? What are you lot saying? Big up Northside. My birthday is the 20th of August. Big up August, man. Them. Listen, big up all the August, man. Them. You already know, man. Big up, man. Big up. Gemash, caramba. What else are you lot saying, caramba? What's this? Seko Fofana is dubbed as the next Yaya Toure. But every time I see players with the next this, the next Messi, the next, but I kind of just steer away from them. Anytime I hear any of that crap, I don't like to hear all of that because most of the time they flop. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not really on that. What's this here? If this Raphinha is so good, then how come Leeds got him over bigger clubs and the price was low? there wasn't huge hype about him before. Yeah, but listen, he built up his stocks, innit? Palhinha is going to Fulham according to news in Portugal. But I want Palhinha, man. That is the guy I want. If we get Palhinha, I may forgive Arsenal for the Basuma deal. But it is what it is. He's a winger, north side. Fair enough. Still, it is what it is, people. Listen, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. 99 of you watching live right now. Hit the like, caramba. Hit the subscribe, caramba. Puta que pariu. Help the video get more views. Listen, I want to pick up all of you lot, yeah? The videos, the support of my videos and my content is literally been crazy. Most of the time, I'm getting more views on videos than I have subscribers. You lot are absolutely sick. Some videos are getting 2K, some are getting 3.5, some are getting 1.7, 1.6. You know what I'm saying? You lot, yeah, big up to all of you lot. The support is mad. Listen, we're raising the standards. And yes, of course, I'm more than happy to get people on that want to raise the standards. But if there are people that agree with this crap, this so-called process, I'm more than happy to have a debate. I'll never close the door on a debate. And I'm always going to stay true to how I feel and how I feel that this club has lost the standards and how the fan base need to hold this club accountable. You're never going to hear me go playing that down. Like, I'm always going to say it as it is, and that's how I am, and that's how I'm always going to be. Do you know what I'm saying? So listen, big up all of you lot. And yeah, listen, we have to have discussions within our fan base, you know, for things not to become toxic. But this toxic positivity needs to end, because for me, when real hard questions are put, there's no answers. When people are talking about money, well, why is Liverpool competing? When people are talking about, oh, but it's hard to compete with the teams around, well, how come Liverpool are doing it with a lower budget? When people are competing, oh, but you have to give him time. Well, we've been waiting. It's been coming up 19 years now without us winning a league title. So listen, I'm here for all the smoke, but at the same time, you know, it is what it is. I don't want to scare too many people away thinking, no side, you're bare argumentative. So I try to keep it political, but it is what it is, man. Listen, exactly what I was thinking. Smash the likes up. Let's get 100 likes. Come on, people. Let's get 100 likes. There's 94 of you watching right now. Smash the likes, caramba. Support your boy. You know what I'm saying? You lot are mad. Smash the likes. Raphinha is not the be-all, end-all. Hopefully, Dumb and Dumber, Arteta and Edu don't waste the remainder of the window on this. For asking price, surely there's lots of talented options. Listen, for me, I just look at it like that. I'd love to have Raphinha, but we still need more. I like Gabriel Jesus, but we still need a proper striker that can bag us 25 goals to push in beyond that. You know, we still need rotation on the left. We still need a world-class deep line playmaker. We still need a CDM, i.e. Palhinha. If anyone associated Arsenal's watching this video, which they're probably not, go get Palhinha. We still need a right back that's as good as Kieran Tierney. And we do also need a left back to rotate with Kieran Tierney, because he can never be fit for the whole season. So listen, there's still a lot of work to be done. I don't know what some people want from me, if they want me to be ultra happy. Listen, let's wait and see, because I don't believe they're going to do the business that's done. And if they don't, we ain't competing. My standard is not to, oh, we've done enough business to get top four. I don't care about top four. I want a squad that is ready to compete for the league and ready to compete in the Champions League and win it. That is what I want. And that is my standard. I'm not here to be perpetuating all of this. Oh, but it's good enough. It's good enough to get top four. Fuck top four. I don't give a shit about top four. We got rid of Wenger because we was fed up of top four. So let's not change the narrative and move the goalpost now and say top four is good enough. It ain't good enough. So that is the standards. And listen, all of you lot are mad. I'm going to go have my dinner now because I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? And bare saliva's coming out right now because I'm mad hungry. And make sure you smash the likes up. And yeah, I'm out. Edu, Vinay, Arteta, the Cronkies, just leave. You ain't good enough. And whether you lot get the business that's needed, it doesn't matter because you ain't good enough. Because none of you lot have the ambition that these lot, you lot, the Tropa Elite have and that I have. On that bombshell, I'm out.